morning from downtown Tucson. You ready to go? Okay. It is Saturday morning, Luca's favorite morning, aside from Sunday. I should say Sunday is Luca's favorite morning because we go downtown and there's all kinds of pizza crust, cheese. I say cheeseburger. So he's busy walking and I'm listening to my podcasts and just different, a lot of news, a lot of different angles, right? And what I want to do this video on was just some numbers that I thought we all want to have in this world. I thought they were some smart numbers. And listening to a lineup of generals getting interviewed about, all right, what is actually like probable that we can talk about? And with regard to, what's going to happen in the future of this war, but how do we as human beings here on Earth and Americans hedge our bets, right? Or how do we look at, when do we really think the gas prices are going to stabilize, and what is the actual situation, right? Because, what I see is a lot of self-serving news, right? And I'm not trying to, let me just repeat this, I'm not trying to take sides here. What the point of this video is to say, how long do we think gas prices are going to go up? And what are the main key, things about the war that's going to tie directly into a timeline, okay? And what are the key things we need to get the oil flowing again and be able to understand that, hey, we're probably going to be able to stabilize some of this, gas, fertilizer. You guys all know what's going on, right? So going back to the data, here's some data that I got from the generals. Come on, buddy. And in the U.S. Navy, come on, we'll pause. In the U.S. Navy, hold on. We have 4 mine-sweeping ships. 4. Hold on, buddy. And cool tidbit, their hulls are made out of wood. Well, why do we only have 4? The question came up, right? Well, their hulls are made out of wood. So they have to search for mines in the ocean in a wooden boat. Can you imagine? Like, that's a part of it. But as the U.S. Navy sits, this general says, I've heard this before, that we only have 4. Okay? And in order to keep, a coastline of Iran is about the size of the whole West Coast, right? So imagine in your head the whole West Coast to some, degree needs to be stabilized because they would be able to take pot shots, those kind of things. They also have cigarette speedboats that can shoot missiles, thousands of them, okay? So imagine those little boats, like Miami Vice is what I'm thinking in my head, boats, thousands of them hidden along and stationed along the West Coast. And that's what we're talking about, folks. We're talking about a large-scale area. We're talking about a country that has 92 million people. And the numbers that we already know, good morning. The numbers that we already know are what? We have 4 wooden-hulled ships to sweep mines in our U.S. Navy. Can you see why Trump's asking for help? And, I was told our allies would be able to 10 times that number. Okay, so let's round it up. If all of our allies only have another 100 minesweepers, right? Let's go. Another 100 minesweepers in the world. And, so we got to do the math here, right? So, and it seems that the rest of the world aren't going to go and put their minesweepers on their boats and ship them over unless they're not going to be shot at by pot shots in these thousands, right? Can you see? So, I just wish the people that actually know the numbers of the boots on the ground would just keep sharing them. They are. Keep sharing them, because it seems we get a lot lost in the rhetoric. Or we get a lot. Am I talking about politics right now? Right? So if you're feeling uncomfortable about what I'm saying, and if you feel like it's politics I'm talking about right now, I think that's so interesting. And I would love to talk to you, because can you see how it's not really politics when we're talking about stuff that really affects all of us, including the whole world at this point, right? All of our friends are saying, we ain't giving you our wooden-hulled ships until you figure out a game plan, until you can show that you can play nice in the sandbox, right? Anyway, and I want to leave you with also part B of the generals are talking about the A-10 Warthog. And I have a love of the A-10. If normal days we would be doing this video, you'd hear them in a course of a 10-minute video. You probably hear them. And I'm like, you could hear the whistle that they have in their engines. Their engines are just a lot different. They do fly a little slower, but I could tell if it's an A-10 with the whistle. But anyway, I have a room in my Airbnb devoted to the Air Force, and has some A-10 stuff in it. And I just really enjoy the A-10, but they were going to decommission it because it's been in service, hold on buddy, for so long, right? And this was a local story. I live in Tucson, and this is a local story because the battalion's like based out of right here, right? And so they sent these A-10s, and they're one of the most capable things against what I just talked about, the speedboats. They can fly for a long period of time. They have really long wings, and they're very efficient. So they can literally hover, and do air, like keep the air support in the air for long periods of time. They're very survivable. They're really cool airplanes, but they made it so that they're survivable for the pilot. And they have a gun on the front of them. It shoots so much lead that they have to let off the trigger. They have to shoot it in bursts because it literally stops the plane midair. It's like the plane's flying, and it goes backwards if they keep shooting it, right? So it's a problematic thing. It's basically like a flying machine gun is really what it is. But I haven't heard any of them overhead. And hey, shout out to Tony and his tour. This is the Tucson Art Museum, Tony Ray, and he's giving a tour in there. I'll put that in the link. Here we go. The Tucson Trolley Tours. Just did that yesterday. I would highly recommend it. Anyway, getting back to those two numbers, guys. The bad news is we only have 4 wooden-hulled minesweeping ships. Let's go this way. In our fleet. The good news is we have so many A-10s they were going to decommission, right? So that's what I want to leave you with. Is hey, it's a general. I read this book all the time, and there's a general from the Stockdale Paradox, right? And he was in Hanoi Hilton. Come on, Luca. Nope. Come on, buddy. Come on. No more pizza. General Stockdale was in the Hanoi Hilton, prisoner of war in Vietnam, and his focus was trying to keep his men from dying while they're in captivity because of their mindset, right? And he said the optimist had the biggest problem. So if we just believe that this is going to be over by here, over by here, over by here, and it doesn't happen, you can see the morale going down, going down, going down. And so you have to be able to say, hey, we might not get out of jail by Christmas, but we will get out of jail. So we'll move on as a country. We will figure out whatever this is. We will. but it's gonna be a while, and it's gonna, you tell me. I think this is where an honest discussion is good data. You tell me, if we got 100 minesweeping ships, right, and we get them all, the world helps us, we get them all to what, cover a few hundred miles of coastline, right? So there's a lot of things that if we don't solve this diplomatically, the options militarily are very, very long term. That's what they're not saying. I mean, I think they're saying it, but they're not saying it, right? If we don't figure out a way to agree that we're not going to shoot at each other anymore, this situation could last a long time if the Iranians decide to dig in and say, no, unless we get what we want, we're just going to save our weapons and take pot shots. And that's the worst case scenario, right? And that's their strategy, is they can just sit here and take pot shots every now and then and really screw up the whole world economy, right? Because we really don't have an answer for this situation militarily. It seems all the data told us prior to this, right? And this is all knowable, nothing's new. And there's no new data other than maybe somebody was going to be trigger happy, right? So I'm trying to stay away from politics and try to say towards a message of, you tell me, how long is this going to last? When the true problem, as we all can see it, is what it is, right? I mean, we're talking a huge coastline. They know the Iranians have been around for thousands of years, and they know how to, defend their existence. And that's what they're saying they're going to do. This is not about, oh, you're just, going to take our weapons and we're going to be okay. When you escalate something like this, look at life from their perspective, whether you like them or not. You have to literally take this perspective of, well, geez, even the people that we're talking and negotiating with, you kill, right? So I don't want to get too much into tactics or politics, but it's really bad to kill the people you're trying to negotiate with. I do know, just so happen to have a book on negotiation in this backpack I'm wearing right now. Okay, and nothing about the negotiation in any books that I've ever seen says that it's smart while you're in the middle of good negotiations to just literally off your counterparts. So now we're sitting here, and this is what I'll leave, is who's negotiating with whom. So if we just kind of came up with our shade tree hats on and we decided, okay, well, yeah, I can see your point. The military option to keep our oil flowing, probably not something smart we should have done. Probably not even doable. What I'm seeing is a military option is something. I'm gonna pause it here. We got the downtown folks cleaning up downtown. Love it. Downtown Tucson's clean. It's clean by 8 o'clock, from the prior night, which, I've seen. But anyway, that's what's going on, folks. We gotta, maybe listen to things that we don't normally listen to in order to get the right data right now. And that's all. I mean, I'm just, I'm telling you the story. I'll post the link of the generals that said this out of their mouth. But I've heard this over and over again, that just for the point of one thing, minesweepers, right? So look into minesweepers, and kind of hedge your bets on where things are headed, folks. But I will say this, the A-10 that we have is so badass, could literally help us in this situation. I don't see a whole lot of folks talking about that one either. So, love you all. We're going to get through this, and I'm not going to tell you how long. I'm going to tell you, get to know your data. Get to know different news sources, and just start to think about things in a common sense perspective. Do we have the military might? Is knowable. We know some of this stuff. Anyway, love you all. Lucas says happy Saturday.